What if I told you that a group of nomadic horse riders from the cold steppes of Asia built the largest land empire in human history? They had no cities, no castles, no massive armies. Yet in just a few decades, they conquered half the known world. Their name? The Mongols. And their leader would become one of the most feared and powerful men in history, Genghis Khan. But the real story of the Mongol Empire is far more complex than the legends of destruction. Because behind the image of ruthless conquerors was a civilization that changed trade, technology, communication, and global history forever. The Mongol Empire began in the vast grasslands of Central Asia, a harsh world of freezing winters, scorching summers, and endless plains. Here, tribes survived by herding animals and moving constantly across the steppe. Life was brutal, food was scarce. War between tribes was common. But from this unforgiving land emerged a leader who would unite the Mongol tribes and reshape the world. A man born in poverty, who would rise to command an empire stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. His name was Temujin, the man history would remember as Genghis Khan, a survivor, a strategist, and eventually a leader. Instead of ruling through noble bloodlines like traditional tribal leaders, Temujin promoted people based on loyalty and skill. A revolutionary idea at the time. Slowly, tribe by tribe, he united the Mongol clans. Then in the year 1206, something historic happened. Temujin was declared Great Khan, the supreme ruler of all Mongols. And from that moment forward, the world would begin to tremble. Rising orchestral tension. How did the Mongols defeat massive kingdoms and empires? The answer lies in their extraordinary military strategy. They used speed, deception, and psychological warfare. One famous strategy was the false retreat. Mongol soldiers would pretend to flee, drawing enemy armies into pursuit. Then suddenly, they would turn around and surround them. But the real secret of Mongol success was discipline and organization. Their army was structured in units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Every soldier knew exactly where he belonged, and failure was not tolerated. Once united, the Mongols began their expansion, and their conquests were astonishing. They invaded northern China, destroying the powerful Jin dynasty. They swept through Central Asia, crushing the massive Khwarezmian Empire. Cities that resisted were completely destroyed. The Mongols used terror as a weapon. Stories of entire cities wiped out spread across continents. Many enemies surrendered before battles even began. Within decades, Mongol armies had reached Russia, Persia, the Middle East. Eastern Europe never before had one empire controlled so much land. At its height, the Mongol Empire covered over 24 million square kilometers, making it the largest continuous land empire in history. But the Mongols were not only destroyers, they were also builders. After the conquests came something unexpected: stability. Historians call this period the Pax Mongolica. For the first time in history, trade routes across Asia became safe. Merchants could travel thousands of kilometers without fear. The famous Silk Road flourished under Mongol protection. Goods moved across continents. Silk from China, spices from India, gold from the Middle East, ideas from every civilization. The Mongols also created a revolutionary postal system. Stations were built across the empire where messengers could change horses. Information could travel faster than ever before. For the medieval world, this was the beginning of global connectivity. Silk Road trade caravans, Mongol courier network, cultural exchanges. Despite their warrior reputation, the Mongols were surprisingly tolerant. They allowed many religions to coexist. Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, Taoists all lived within the empire. Scholars, engineers, and artisans were often spared during conquests and brought into Mongol service. This exchange of knowledge helped spread paper making, gunpowder, printing technology, and described the empire. Even famous travelers like Marco Polo visited the Mongol court and described the empire as one of the most advanced societies of its time. But like all empires, the Mongols could not remain united forever. After the death of Genghis Khan in 1227, his empire continued expanding under his descendants. One of them was Kublai Khan. He would conquer all of China and establish the Yuan dynasty. But internal conflicts began to grow. The empire split into several powerful regions: the Golden Horde, the Ilkhanate, the Chagatai Khanate, the Yuan dynasty. Slowly, the unity of the Mongols faded, and by the 14th century, the once unstoppable empire had fractured. But the real question is this: was the Mongol Empire a force of destruction or the beginning of the modern connected world? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe